Namaste. Welcome to the next talk, the seventh talk from Heart to Heart, Volume 2. These are the talks and questions and answers from the proceedings of seminars of Sahaj Marg held during September-October 97 at France, Madagascar, Switzerland by Pujya Shri Parthasarthi Rajagopalachari. This is Volume 2. Let us begin the seventh talk, The Secret of Laughter, on September 5th, 1987. Jean-Michel was referring to an interesting facet of my master's character, his humor. We have all enjoyed it, laughed a great deal and occasionally shed a few tears. And the remarkable thing about him was his very quick wit. Even though he claimed he was not educated and that he did not know much English, he was like a swordsman, His repartee and his quick wit used to astound scholars even of English Hindi. Now, quite early in my association with him, I made one discovery, that humor did not need a mastery of language. It's a mistake. And especially the English people suffer from this. They think unless you know English thoroughly, you cannot be humorous in that language. It is ridiculous in that it reduces humor to the level of the dictionary. What was the essence of my master's humor was his ability to pick out from a situation the absurdity in it, not from the language but from the situation. And why did he pick out that absurdity and make it the subject of laughter? It achieved many goals, many aims. First of all, it removed the tension. See, when there is a burst of laughter, all the tension is removed. Secondly, if the person was suffering and it was the absurdity that he exposed in his humor, the problem was reduced to the right size in his mind, because we generally tend to exaggerate our problems in our own consciousness and make them bigger than they really are. A burst of laughter reduced it to its proper dimensions. The third reason was even more important. Laughter broke barriers and brought people very close to him. Anybody who has been close to him will testify to his truth, that my master had three weapons with which he won humanity. The first, of course, was his hookah. The second was his laughter. And third and the most potent was the mischievous twinkle in his eyes, which he did not express in words or in laughter. He had a way of compressing all that he wanted to say in his eyes and just looking like this at the person. So, his ability to bring people to him was the manifestation of his humanness, utter humanness, which made it easy for people to say, well, he is like us, we can go near him. But one thing I have always noticed with his humor and his wit, even though he was dealing with our problems and wanted to cut our ego down to size, he would create a situation as if it was his own problem. Laugh at it himself, make us laugh with him, but convey the message to the person for whom it was intended. This was a very important thing, because he laughed at himself and we benefited. If he had laughed directly at our problem, our self-respect, our ego would have been hurt and we might have gone away from him. That is why for every problem, Master's answer was, suppose I said I had a bad headache for the last 25 years. He had the vision to see where it is located. And immediately he would say, it is here. And of course, we are very happy to know that he has located it. Yes, Babuji, it is here. Immediately he would turn to Kasturi or somebody else and say, you see what I have been telling you. The same place I have been having headache for 20 years. Now, what could you do with a man who pointed to his headache when you say you have a headache? He was the it was the same thing for stomachache. Anything you had, he had it, and then he would laugh at it, and tell a story. How he went to Lalaji and like Parthasarthi is now telling me about his headache. I told Lalaji about my headache, and Lalaji said, I will pray for you. And then he would smile very sweetly and say, Look here, I am telling you, I cannot do more than my master could do. I will also pray for you. And then he would have a laugh, you see. He would laugh like a child and say, What is there in a headache that we are so worried about? So his humor was not just the humor of linguistic jugglery or picking out the situation for making fun of someone. It was a divinely oriented therapeutic measure. His laughter healed people, cured people, set their minds and hearts at rest, and made them whole. He was the perfect proof of that old saying that if you laugh your problems away. So we should all try to laugh at our problems, because if you just sit and brood over it, the headache, my headache, it grows bigger and bigger. Have you ever seen two sick people talking about their diseases? It is very revealing, you see. Each one claims that his or her suffering is more than the others, often to such an extent that you wonder how they are alive to tell these stories. Now, I am not joking, it's a fact. But when we laugh at our own illnesses, they lose their hold upon us, and we cure ourselves in a very large measure. So that was the secret of Babuji's laughter technique. I am sure there are quite a few psychoanalysts and therapists here. They would help a lot more people and more newer cheaply if they could just laugh in their clinics instead of putting a long faces and pretending to be wise. You see, the biggest disease is the pretense to wisdom, because the moment you think you are wise, you have to know everything, and when you know everything, you are bound to show it in your actions and in your treatments. So a poor fellow who comes to you with headache doesn't get 2 pills of Cefile. He gets 17 textbooks on psychology thrown at him. Without offense to my brothers who deal in psychology and psychotherapy, I would suggest they are specialists in bringing about new diseases with their wisdom. So please, in fact, it's a fact, you see. So that I would suggest it, let us have laughter clinics, where you should sit and laugh, and you would find the world is not only a healthier place, it is much safer place too. Because the greatest enemy of mankind is not weapons, it is the bloated ego of the so-called wise man. This is what leads to disastrous trends in scientific research. Just to prove we know something, we want to splice genes, for instance. What for? To create monsters. So you see, the old wisdom that anything we do must be helpful to human beings has lost its meaning now. And you all know, if you want to make a man or a woman very uncomfortable, laugh at him. It is a weapon which nobody can counter, and the more you laugh, the more the other person is discomfited. This art of disarming an enemy with laughter we have lost. My master perfected it. That is the secret of laughter. Here we conclude this 7th talk. In the next narration, we will start our 8th talk titled Naturalness. Thank you for listening.